As the door to the little nursery opened, Titus's head swiveled round, and, with a shout of pure pleasure, he jumped onto his little legs, pushing his nurse to one side, and ran across to his parents. "Dada!" he squealed, as he wrapped his arms around his father's legs and tipped his head back, wide-eyed and smiling. "Pick up, pick up, pick up!" Vespasian leant down and, firmly grasping the boy under the arms, swung him above his head, provoking a fresh bout of excited screaming. "How's my soldier, eh? How's my little boy today?" Vespasian smiled and turned to his wife. "He's growing up fast. Not long now before he gets to wear his first toga." "He's still a baby," Flavia protested. "Still my little baby, aren't you?" Titus regarded his mother with a disgusted expression and pushed himself back from her tight embrace. Vespasian laughed and leant forward to ruffle the boy's unruly hair. "That's my little soldier." "He's not a soldier," Flavia said firmly, "and he's not going to be a soldier. At least he's not going to be one for any longer than is absolutely necessary. If I have anything to do with it, he'll stay in Rome, where I can look after him." "We'll have to let him decide for himself one day," Vespasian replied gently. "The army's a good life for a man." "No, it's not. The army's dangerous, uncomfortable, and populated by uncouth louts." "Provincials like me, I suppose." "Oh, I didn't mean—"
"Only joking. But seriously, if Titus is to make a career for himself in the Senate, then he must serve with the legions first."
"You could see to it that he gets a posting near home."
"We've been through this. The appointments get made by the imperial staff. I have no influence there, at least not at the moment. If you want him to be successful, he must serve in the army first. You know that's the way it is."
"Yes," Flavia nodded sadly and kissed Titus on the forehead. The infant sensed her mood and suddenly hugged her tightly, crushing his little face into her shoulder. "I just wish I could have him at this age for longer."
"I know. I really do. Maybe there'll be more children one day, when you're ready."
Flavia stared up into his face, dark eyes full of painful memory that threatened to well up into tears. She blinked, and then forcefully smiled away the tremble in her lip. "Oh, I hope so. I want so very many of them, and I want them with you. You promise me you will be careful."
"Careful?"
"This new campaign of yours in Britain, you will be careful."
"Britain? How the hell—" Vespasian's brow creased angrily. "That's supposed to be a secret. Where did you hear it?"
"From the officers' wives." Flavia laughed at his expression. "You men really do have a great deal to learn about keeping secrets, don't you?"
"Typical," Vespasian muttered. "Bloody typical. I swear my most senior officers to strict confidentiality, and the next thing I know it's common gossip. Is nothing sacred any more?"
Titus laughed and shook his head violently from side to side. "Now don't fuss, dear," Flavia patted him on the arm. "I'm sure the secret's safe from everyone else. But don't let's change the subject. I was talking about Britain."
"So, it seems, is everyone else," grumbled Vespasian.
"You must promise me you'll be careful. I want your word, right now."
"I promise."
"That's settled, then." She nodded in satisfaction. "Now give the boy a hug and put him to bed." Vespasian carried the child over to the cot in the corner of the room. Leaning down, he pulled back the soft woolen covers one-handed and removed the warming brick. Both parents gazed down at him for a moment, wondering at the peaceful, perfectly rounded shape of his face, the final twitches of his curled fingers in the flickering glow of the oil lamps. Someone hammered on the door. Titus stirred, eyes flickering open for a moment.
"Who the hell—"
"Just shut them up quickly," Flavia hissed, "before they wake Titus." Vespasian opened the door onto the courtyard and was confronted by the duty centurion and a shivering legionary.
"Sir," the centurion barked in best parade ground manner, "beg to report—" "Shh! Keep your voice down. My boy's asleep."
The centurion stood open-mouthed for a second before he managed to force himself to continue in a whisper.
"Beg to report a fire."
"A fire? How big a fire? Where?"
"In the direction of the forest, sir, towards the Rhine."
Vespasian eyed the man impatiently.
"And you think that's worth disturbing me for?" The sentry says it's a big fire, sir. Big? How big?
Dunno, sir, the legionary replied. Can't see the fire as such, sir. Just a glow on the horizon, like. A nasty thought struck the legate.
Third cohort back yet?
No, sir. The centurion shook his head. No sign of them.
Right. I'm coming. You're dismissed.
Flavia crossed over to him in small, quiet steps. Trouble?
Possibly. I'm just going to check. I'll be back soon. You get to bed.